As we all know at this stage, unless you've been living under a rock recently, that Andre Drummond has signed a veteran minimum deal to the end of the season with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that, with Andre Drummond signing with the Lakers, it leaves only one roster spot remaining for the Lakers to fill in the buyout market. We're going to start with Andre Drummond. I made a video on Andre Drummond a few weeks ago, so if you want to go and watch that, I speak more in depth, but I'm going to skim over some of the points I made. Andre Drummond, he's most likely going to be the Lakers starting centre from now on. I think he'll probably play against the Bucks on Wednesday, so from then on I think he'll be our starting centre. This season he's averaged 17.5 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, 1.2 blocks a game and 1.6 steals a game on 47% shooting from the field. That's not too good, 47% shooting from the field, but the steals and blocks, they're huge, they're very important for a centre like Andre. I think they'll, especially the steals, getting the Lakers going on a fast break. I think that, that's a very good asset to have. Drummond, he should be very motivated to play the Lakers because he's finally playing on a good team. He's playing on really bad Pistons teams, really bad Cavaliers teams. So he's finally playing on a good team, should be motivated. And if that's not enough for him, he's also a free agent this offseason. And he's been on record saying he wants to get the max contract this offseason. It won't be easy for him to get that because he's, an old school centre. But if he wants the max, he's got to perform this Lakers team, and what better chance to do it than a Lakers team with LeBron and AD injured? You've got a chance to get him a few more wins and then help us go back to back. At 27 years old, Andre is still very athletic, especially compared to Marc Gasol. Lakers fans, you're definitely with me in this one. Watching Marc Gasol all season, he's been so slow, so immobile, so anything will look better than him. Andre Drummond will look like prime Dwight Howard athletic wise because Gasol is so damn slow. We all know how elite of a rebounder Drummond is. Don't go too deep into that. That's his speciality. His ability to rebound though on both ends will get the Lakers a good few amount of extra possessions, especially on the offensive end. Let's say KCP or Wes Matthews misses one of their regular threes that they miss. Drummond gets the rebound, kicks it back out, get another go. So Drummond with those offensive rebounds will get the Lakers a heck of a lot more possessions. We get a lot more chances to get that three to fly or some other possession. He's going to be filling in a very similar role to the role that Dwight Howard played so well last year. Dwight Howard became a fan favourite, one of my favourites last year for sure. And I think Drummond, he's going to do a very similar role at a higher level, I think, because he's only 27 years old. He's going to be a rim protector. He's a capable defender when motivated and in the right system, and Frank Vogel's one of the better defensive coaches, so he's got a chance here to step up on the defensive end. Obviously he's a lob threat, and playing alongside AD, form like a Twin Towers thing there with AD the power forward and Drummond at the centre. Playing with a DPOY candidate like AD will help mask some of Andre Drummond's defensive flaws. He's not perfect on the defensive end, but playing with someone like AD, will try and hide those deficiencies. And playing with a playmaker like LeBron James, it's going to make anyone look good, and it's going to get Drummond loads of good shots in and around the rim, alley-oop passes. This is Drummond's chance. If he wants to get this max, he's finally playing on a winning team. No more Pistons, no more Cavaliers. You're on a good side, a championship contending side, playing alongside Anthony Davis as your front court partner and LeBron feeding you the ball. I'm pretty sure if you're going to succeed, now is the best chance to do it. Like Dwight, Drummond just needs to stick to his role, stay motivated, and help the Lakers go back to back. He'll play a big role. Dwight Howard played a big role last year in us going back to back. Certain series weren't for him, like the Houston Rockets series, but the Nuggets series, he was massive in that against Jokic, and even played a big part in the Heat series at the start anyway. So Drummond can play a big role in this Lakers championship, quest, you could say. So hopefully Drummond steps up and we get the best out of him. The Lakers, I think the paint is going to be locked up from now on. No more letting little point guards into the paint and laying it up over Marc Gasol. Now that we've got Drummond, he's joining Marc Gasol, who, yes, he's immobile and he's got plenty of deficiencies, but he is an experienced veteran. He knows where to be. So you got Gasol, you got Drummond, you got Montrez, you got AD, and even if you want to play small ball, you got Markieff Morris. So the Lakers are stacked on the front court. Each of those centers give you different things. Drummond, rebounding, a big presence, physical presence. Gasol, stretching the floor, veteran, he's been there, he's done it. Montrez, lots of energy off the bench and scoring, very good player to have on your roster. And Anthony Davis, he can do it all. And then if you want to play small ball, play Markieff, he can stretch the floor. Very good player, Markieff. I think he's underrated, but that's just me. And of course, Drummond will be key in certain matchups, like against Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic, Yusuf Nurkic. In certain matchups, Drummond will be key. That's what I'm saying. Certain matchups, he'll be more important than others. Let's say Lakers play Nuggets, Drummond will be a big part in that series. He'll be playing against Jokic. As for Montrez, that's not a series for him. We all saw how he got dominated when he was at the Clippers last year against the Nuggets. So certain series are different people. I still think Montrez will have a big role to play. He's been playing exceptional these last couple of weeks. Gasol, I think since he's come back, Lakers fans will give him a hard time, but since he's come back, he's done well, and he's got his strengths. He does have his strengths. You know, we're going to ask him to play a smaller role now, coming off the bench. That might work better for him as well. He can stretch the floor. Very good passer for a big man, and he can, as long as he's not have to be running back. You know, once he gets moving, he's very slow and immobile, but he can place himself. He's a veteran. He knows where to be. You know, and hopefully he can do his job, play his role to the best he can. Now, as I said, the Lakers have one more roster spot remaining, and their need is shooting, preferably a 3-and-D wing, but Lakers need to improve in their 3-point shooting. That said, last year they were poor 3-point shooting and they ended up winning it all, but you know, it'd be nice to have it. So the current roster so far, I think this can be the starting lineup once everyone's fit and healthy. Dennis Schroeder, the point guard. You got KCP at shooting guard, obviously LeBron and AD at small forward and power forward, and then Andre Drummond as your starting centre. Your second unit could be Alex Caruso, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Kyle Kuzma, Markieff Morris, and Trez. Then you got Marc Gasol. Dudley was injured, but you know, he's still on the roster, still plays a big part behind the scenes. McKinney gets underused, but as for now he's on the roster. And Wes Matthews, who's had a really tough time recently. He's been doing a bit better. He can't get any worse. So Lakers have one more spot remaining. Now, as I said, shooting is a number one 3-and-D wing who can shoot. You know, that's the ideal person. So there's two possible bio targets we've got here. I'm sure there's many more, but these two are being heavily linked to the Lakers, and I think if they can get one of these two, they'll be doing pretty well. So number one, Otto Porter Jr. If you're a Lakers fan, you've heard about him plenty over these last week or two anyway. Otto Porter Jr., he's just been traded to the Magic from the Bulls. Rumours are that he won't be bought out at the moment, but if he does, I think he'd be the perfect fit for what the Lakers need. He's only played 26 games this season, averaging 9.7 points per game, 5.5 boards, and 2 assists per game. But the key is on 39% shooting from 3 on 5 threes a game. Very good 3-point shooter, very reliable. Otto Porter, he's had lots of injury problems over his career, over recent years. But with the Lakers, he'll only be asked to be their 12th or 13th man on the roster. So he'll only need to be playing 5 to 10 minutes a night. Like playoffs, 5-10 minutes a night, just to fill in, let Bron get a bit of rest. He's a very good 3-point shooter, as I said, which the Lakers desperately need. Everyone's struggling from 3 at the moment. The Lakers are currently 22nd in 3-point shooting in the NBA this season, and I know the counter argument to that is last year the Lakers were ranked 23rd, I think, and they won the chip. But this year we got more competition. You know, Brooklyn, they got a lot of big names like Blake and LaMarcus Aldridge, and of course the big three they got there. I'm not too worried. You know, I'm hoping for a Clippers scenario with Brooklyn. They get knocked out in second round by the Heat or someone. I'd love to see that happen. But, you know, and you have the Clippers as well. Everyone's going on about they got Rondo. We all know how good Rondo is, you know, especially Laker fans in here. You all know how good he is. So, you know, there's more competition. So we just need a bit more 3-point shooting. He's 6'8". He averages a steal a game. So that's also good, you know. He can contribute in defensive end. Yeah, he's just a very solid wing defender to have on your team. You can put him up against Kawhi Leonard, Paul George for 5 to 10 minutes. While other people get a breather if you need to. You know, he's the ideal candidate. 3-and-D, can hit the 3. It's in the name, 3-and-D. But I think he'd be the perfect fit. A veteran minimum to the end of the season. Come on down, Otto Porter. You know, he's more than welcome. And this guy, he'll get good looks. I forgot to mention about Andre Drummond. Drummond's going to get good looks as well, because teams are focusing on LeBron. Then you got AD to focus on. You can't focus on all of them. You got Drummond as well. So someone's going to get a bit more room, and especially for 3-point shooters. That's why I would like JJ Redick if he became available. He's obviously gone to Dallas now, but if he came available, it would have been good, because all the focus is on LeBron and AD. Just kick out Otto Porter if he came, or KCP, and let him knock it down. Even though at the moment KCP is playing dreadful, but Otto Porter, if he got bought out, would be the number one option. The number two option we got here, a former Laker. You definitely heard about him by now. You've been linked with us, Avery Bradley. Now, Avery got traded to Houston at the deadline for Victor Oladipo, and will probably get bought out because the Rockets, they're not anywhere near playoffs. They're rebuilding. They're guard heavy. So, you know, I'm pretty sure he'll get bought out. He's only played 10 games this season with the Heat due to injuries and COVID and all that jazz. He's averaged 8.5 points per game on 42% shooting from 3 on 4 threes a game. As I said, he's only played 10 games due to injury and other problems. But the one thing is, we know what Avery Bradley's like. We watched him last year with the Lakers. He knows Frank Vogel's system. He's been there with us. You know, he was a big player for us last year, actually. I remember as our point guard, locking down on fellow point guards. He's very good defensive guard, but that's about it. He's not tall enough to be a wing to defend wings. But as a guard, one of the better defensive guards in the league. He can hit the 3. You know, he can keep defenses honest. He's not gonna. When like Avery Bradley, he's not the most dangerous threat from 3, but like defenses aren't gonna leave him wide open. He can knock it down. I remember that game against the Clippers before the league got shut down. He got like 22 points. He was clutch in that game. And Avery Bradley can lock up. As I said, only 5 to 10 minutes as the 12th or 13th man on the roster. Just give us 10 minutes of good energy, good defense, knock down a 3 or 2, and that's all we're looking for here. We're not looking for a game changer like Andre Drummond. We've got that game changer now. So Avery Bradley will be a good option. Obviously he opted out of the bubble, so we haven't really seen him play a good games consistently since last March. But the thing that goes in his favour is he knows the team, very good defensive guard, can knock down the 3, and we all know what he's capable of doing. He was a vital part of our team last year. So overall, as I said, Andre Drummond was the major and key move of the buyout market. He's a game changer, in my opinion. You know, as I said, now we're only looking for a 13th man on the roster, just to give us 5 to 10 minutes of solid playoff basketball. 3-and-D wing preferably, but the 3-point shooting is number 1. We need to we need to have as much. You know, I don't know what the saying is, but you just need different options. Center here, the front court as an example. You've got the 3-point shooter, Marcus Gasol, who can stretch the floor. You got the old-fashioned physical, rebounding big man in Andre Drummond. You got the scorer and energizer in Montrezl Harrell. You got the small ball stretch 5 in Markieff Morris, and you got Anthony Davis, who can do it all. So you know what I'm saying. We need a bit of variety here. We need guards like Alex Caruso, who can defend. A young guard like Taylor Horton-Tucker, not fearing anyone. Schroeder, Wes. You know, we just need as many different options for Vogel and for the team as we can get. And of course for LeBron and AD to come back 100%. But anyway guys, that's the video. Tell me what you think. Who should the Lakers go after? Also Mo Harkless, as we mentioned. I don't know if he got bought out or not. I'll throw that name out there. Who do you think they should get? Otto Porter Jr., Avery Bradley, or someone else? Maybe even both, you know. Release McKinney if they want, I don't know. Also watching Andre Drummond, you know, how good of an addition would he be? But anyway guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications. We have 3 videos out a week, so stay notified. And with all I said, I'm out of here.